I don't want to hear another white person say the word illegal for the rest of my goddamn life. We are
All right. Well, since y'all can't say it anymore, according to old peanut gallery here, I will. Um, Illegal. If you are not here legally, you are illegal. Illegal. We can even say it with a little accent. Illegal. You are illegal. You're not mi amigo. You are illegal. You're illegal. Now, you can self-deport like the other million plus individuals have already and come back the right way, or you're legal. Simple.
living on stolen land.
Wait.
We are living on stolen land. Our ancestors forcibly and violently seized this land from the
So, your ancestors, I'm talking to her now, so just don't mind me. Let me go ahead and talk to her real quick. Dear Carol, your ancestors, you specifically, were likely the village idiots. By the way in which your mental prowess is showing itself, your cognitive abilities are displaying themselves, there is a high likelihood that your ancestors, your specific ancestors, I'm not talking about all, your ancestors were not the brightest bulbs in the light store. Okay? So they definitely weren't conquering a damn thing. They were barely conquering mental illness.
indigenous peoples who were living here for generations before we ever showed up. We do not get to call them illegal. We don't own the fucking planet. Nobody does. We are evolved monkeys with opposable thumbs who use them to write little monkey scribbles on a slice of tree, and we call it a birth certificate with our little monkey sounds.
Here's what we're going to do for you, Carol. Here's what we're going to do. Wow, look at that. Wow. Just full-blown psychosis. My God, I'm so sorry. So sorry y'all have to see some of this. Here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to set up a nice little program where we round up as many of these fellow earthlings of yours, and we're going to place them in your house. You seem to have at least enough room for that big old screen TV in the back. So we're going to have maybe 10, 15 at a time come and live with you. Eat your food, sleep in your bed. Also dictate the rules of your home, which technically is, according to your logic, is not your home, right? Because your home would basically mean that the piece of land that you're on is actually yours. And since we're on planet Earth and we're nothing more than these monkeys with, I was going to say disposable thumbs, with opposable thumbs, writing things on trees, and then calling them laws. Since none of that is real, all of that is it's irrelevant, completely and absolutely an abstraction. What we're going to do is we're going to move Jose, Jorge, Consuela, Maria, right? We're gonna have all of them get together. We might even throw in Prajit in there. You understand? We'll get them together and we will place them in your household. They will dictate the rules of your land. Now, the reason I bring that up is simple, because that's essentially what's happening when we have the flood, the influx of illegal immigrants coming into America or any other country, as y'all have seen in Europe. When you have these people come into your land, start to dictate the rules, sucking up the resources in that house, in your house, proverbial house, your nation, start to cause havoc in your household, what do you think the next best step would be? Like, I'm almost certain that Carol over here would not be so happy with such an outcome. But when she gets to virtue signal and use this to create her little, Facebook group sort of discourse, it sounds real good then.
All of it is made up. None of it is real, and it doesn't fucking matter. And it's certainly not a valid reason to rip a terrified, screaming child away from his weeping mother. And I am...
Tell that to Obama. 2 million plus deportations. They called him the deporter in chief. Those ICE camps, those cages that you see where they were rounding them up. Yeah, that was your man's. That was your guy, Obama. Your king. Your God king. Like Xerxes, it was Obama. So, yeah. Let me know when you got smoke for him as well.
Tired of being made to feel like I'm crazy for being angry about this. Capitalism is just narcissism as an economic system. Imperialism is just narcissism as a foreign policy. If the lion can't claim the safari for himself and call the elephant illegal, then neither the can we.
Lions will kill their own in order to own a territory. It's funny. I was literally having this conversation recently, like how territorial cats are, felines, right? Got a cat at the house, and there was like a doppelganger cat that was close in proximity, and just to watch them just eyeing each other, and it's like, you shall not pass. You shall not pass. They're very territorial. They will squabble up. They will. So yeah, let's just get that out the way, Caroline. See, let's get to the stolen land thing. The westward part of America, the one that was either conquered or purchased post 1850s, 1840s, that land was resided on by people who likely exterminated the other people that lived there. Like, depending on where you were, depending on location. Unless it was remote and there was nobody there at all, then that's different, right? Excuse me while I take care of myself. So when you start to look at the, let's say, most recent group of people who lived in a specific region. Now, I'm no expert when it comes to Native American history, but, you have everything from the Apaches to the Aztecs and everything in between, the Cherokees, etc. These were not some peaceful, kumbaya sort of individuals like most of us were taught or most of us were indoctrinated to believe. I mean, I was raised with that. Well, not raised, but I was indoctrinated in the school education system to believe that these people didn't even have a word for war. They didn't believe in ownership of property, right? They didn't believe in ownership of anything. They were just these spiritual, non-binary, two-spirited sort of individuals. Well, the reality is this. They were warring peoples. They were slave-holding peoples. There were those who would sacrifice those who they captured, literally ripping their hearts out of their chests. Like, this is what was actually taking place. That's why we make a distinction between the civilized and the uncivilized world. There was a world where certain things, there was no rules, conducts, etc. And much of the Western American world was that until we brought more civility to it. But land was purchased and land was conquered, something that's been going on since the beginning of time. Land was purchased and land was conquered. Now, yes, you're not going to leave with your land. You drop down dead today, you don't come back. Let's hope that's not the case. But you're not taking anything with you, at least not that we know of, right? So, technically speaking, yes, nobody actually owns anything. You just kind of own it temporarily. But in the interim, these are the systems that we have created. These are the rules in which we abide by and we play by. And we can play pretend all we want. We can play pretend communist all we want as we, enjoy all the trappings of my goodness, look at the eye. Whoa. Okay, she's having an episode. I didn't see the pupils, the dilation of the pupils there. I'm so serious right now. I'm not even being funny. Like, we always see the crazy eyes, but somebody let me know out there who might actually, either you or a family member, somebody goes through these episodes, psychosis. Those pupils are dilated, right? I'm not tripping. Take a second just to look at it real quick. Look at that. I think she's having an episode. Anyway. Yeah, we can play pretend communist all day till we're blue in the face. But the reality is this. You live in a capitalistic society that has afforded you every single opportunity that you currently enjoy. Every single opportunity that is at your fingertips. The television that's playing in the background to the phone that you're essentially holding your hand in order to criticize the system that you benefit from. All of it is due to this imperialist capitalistic society, right? We love to talk about the colonizer. Okay, fantastic. Let's talk about it. How about 2 billion people on this planet practice the religion of Islam, speak a language that is not theirs, wear attire that is not theirs? I mean, that to me would look like colonizer. Lands vast, wide, far from the original spot of where these people actually started. That to me sounds like a colonizer. But it's only relevant when it is in white skin. Only matters when it is unmelanated, because that's the Marxist way. It is the oppressed versus the oppressor. And in today's day and age, the oppressed is always the darker. And the oppressor is always the lighter, even if they are literally the minority. You can be 15, 14 million of y'all, and there's 2 billion of them, and you're still seen as the oppressor because you may have fairer skin or are perceived to have fairer skin. That's why when people like this go on, I don't believe you, and frankly, I think you have actually lost your damn mind if you do believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Absolutely not. So yeah, glad we could have this moment. And let me see, did I miss anything on this? What was her conclusion?
Imperialism is just narcissism as a foreign policy.
Yeah.
If the lion can't claim the safari for himself and call the elephant illegal, then neither the
Yeah, you obviously have not been anywhere close to nature, because when the lion shows up, or when the apex predator shows up, everybody leaves. They gentrify the watering hole, especially when hungry. So yeah, there's that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.